Okay, and the final story I wanted to do is just an update on what's been going on the International Space Station. So we're at Expedition 45, and these are the six crew members on board. Kjell Lindgren and Scott Kelly are the two Americans. And this was a picture of the whole crew taken on November 2nd. And what they're celebrating is the 15th anniversary of continuous habitation of the space station. So the first crew, Expedition 1, that's their patch, arrived on November 2nd of 2000. And there were 3 crew members on that. And since then, we're on Expedition 45 right now. And there has been at least 3 crew on board continuously since November 2nd of 2000. And so here's that first mission crew, and this was the crew when they got on board. I'm sorry, I want to say Scott Shepard, and that's not right. Bill Shepard was the commander. He's an American astronaut. Sergei Krikalev was the senior Russian, and Yuri Godyenko was the Soyuz pilot. And so they arrived in November, and this is what the space station looked like at that point. There were 3 modules. This was the American Unity node, which allowed docking adapters for the space shuttle. This was the Zarya and the Zvezda Russian modules, and this is the Soyuz that those 3 crew members flew up to the station with. So this image was taken by the first shuttle mission, which approached during Expedition 1. So that's what it looked like back in 2000. This is what it looks like now. That same spot is like that much, minus all the solar panels. This is the size of a football field at this point. And it's a fully outfitted space station. And so I think it was a week and a half ago, Lindgren and Scott Kelly did 2 spacewalks. And it's sort of maintenance items on the station. They rerouted electrical cables, moved some equipment around, and then they worked on restoring a cooling system on board, which pumps liquid ammonia around, and that had been worked on about a year and a half ago. There was a leak in the system, and they ultimately determined that there was a leak in one of the pumps in the system. They changed the pump, the leak went away, and so the purpose of this spacewalk was to reattach everything back to its original configuration rather than the sort of bypasses that they'd installed a year and a half ago when they were looking for the leaks. And just some nice images of these guys. So this is a selfie that Kjell Lindgren took of while he was out on this second spacewalk. And this, to me, it's amazing to look at the scale of things. So this is Scott Kelly perched on one of the trusses next to the solar arrays. A closer up view of him at his workstation. And this is a view from Kjell Lindgren looking out to where he was heading, so down one of the trusses of the station. So this is less than half the distance, and there's one of these going off in the other direction. And so find the astronaut. Here, this was a view from the cupola on board. So I'll give you a clue. So here he is, and I'll back up so you can figure it out. But that I just find amazing. It really, usually you see the close-up views of the astronauts, and to have it at this scale, you really get a feel for how large the ISS actually is.